All right, we're going to talk about wood chips and cattle panels and container gardening and potato slips. That's what these are right here. Sweet potatoes, Japanese sweet potatoes. You go to your store, you get some organic, non-GMO sweet potatoes, you cut them in half, make sure the round part is sticking up, put some toothpicks in them, fill it up with water, keep the water clean. About 3 weeks, 4 weeks later, you're pulling these little, you're pulling the actual slip. That's what they're called. That long piece right there, you pull that off right next to the potato, put it in water, and then you end up with stuff that looks like that right there. All right, so I'm going to talk about this right here, wood chips, cattle panels, container gardening, potato slips, and my own well. And you can pause and look at all the different things I grow here. But this right here, these are 5 of the cattle panels. Over here are my containers. They're 29 by 29 by 19 inches tall. They have half a bale of straw in the bottom of each one, and then grass and mulch. This particular one has icicle green beans, radishes. These are onions, yellow Spanish onions. These right here, these had beets in it and they had carrots in it. Now they're getting ready for sweet potatoes in 3 weeks. And then I put, okay, so you got your straw, your mulch, your grass clippings, and then you got dirt, and then you have peat moss and sand, and then more dirt, and then you stir it all up on top. The top 6 to 10 inches you stir up. Now once you plant stuff, I'll put wood chips on top, like right here. So now over here, this right here is my asparagus. I've got, I think, 12 here. Now if you look down there, there's going to be right here, there's going to be all this line right here is going to be okra. Everywhere you see a pot, there's going to be okra on the outside, and then on the inside there's going to be tomato plants, and on this inside there's going to be bell peppers, and in here there's going to be more tomato plants and squash. They'll grow over the trellis there, the cattle panels, and on the outside, everywhere you see a green stake is going to be more okra. Now over here, I dug a well in my yard. Boom. Now, if you get rain in your backyard and you notice crayfish holes, that tells you your water table is pretty high. All right, over there is 2 more cattle panels and my miniature greenhouse and another greenhouse. Well, it's a toter that I converted into a greenhouse to keep everything protected. There's another 10 scoops of wood chips. Over here are my strawberries. Besides eating them throughout the summer, last year we put 6 gallons in the freezer. All right, and then way over there are 4 more containers, 3 more cattle panels, and 1 more container. Over here is my Yukon Gold potatoes that are getting ready for the summer. Over here I'll have squash, I'll have zucchini, and more okra. But I grow, now look, I've tried pots and straw and leaves and compost, newspaper, cardboard, etc. But I watched a deal on Back to Eden, and I saw what he was doing, how it keeps down the weeds. I can tell you, every August I would give up on trying to weed because the weeds would just take over. Now I don't have that problem. This is the 1st of May, and I'm not doing any weeds. Any green you see is leaves because it's rained so much. Over here I've got cabbage, I got turnips, I have more Spanish yellow onions. Over here I have another box of Yukon Gold. There's some kale that came up, or that came back from last year. Here's some more onions, red onions, and some more kale. This box had red onions, so or red radishes. They're all picked. But the big thing about the wood chips is that you don't have to weed. You don't have to do much fertilizing. And so far as fertilizing goes, if you think about it, I mean, my wife and I, we would throw in our scraps. We throw in our scraps on the wood chips in the garden, and they'd come up volunteer, like avocado pits. They just grow on their own. I threw in the top of a pineapple, and the top of it grew roots into the wood chips. I didn't plant it. I didn't do anything. I just tossed it in there. The strawberries, I could never grow strawberries before. You saw how many there are, and there's probably over 1,000 blossoms, easy. Come in my freezer. There's sweet potatoes from last year. The big one down here, those are the Japanese sweet potatoes, purple. This is kale, and then I have tomatoes in there. I just pulled out another thing of sweet potatoes, and then, like I said, out there are my own sweet potatoes. Now the Beauregard I'll go ahead and grow on my own. But what I was going to say, if you think of all the fertilizer that you're putting in your garden, think about when you take prescription medicine. There are no chemicals that you can put in your body that don't have some kind of side effect. So why would you think that you can put chemicals in your garden that isn't going to have some kind of side effect on the soil, which is basically just a living organism? And the wood chips, as they break down, they just feed all those little microorganisms. So anyway, I'm not going to pretend like I'm a scientist or anything, but I do know that the wood chips have worked awesome. I mean, I give so much stuff away, it's not even funny. And so far as anything that I spray on my plants, it'd be neem oil, and I order praying mantis to take care of anything that any other type of pest. But I can tell you one thing, when it comes to vine borers, I just had to go to a different type of zucchini, which is called trombone zucchini and Kershaw squash, because no matter what, they lay eggs down by the ground, and they lay eggs up on the top. I found eggs everywhere, and then the little borer bores in. I used to just think it was a nice looking, awesome looking moth. And then I come to find out that it was a vine borer. They're red. They're really attractive, but they are a real pain. So if you're thinking about candle panels, yes. Containers, yes. Wood chips, absolutely. And potato slips, yeah, definitely make them yourself. You can get any kind you want that you like to eat. Just save one back, cut it in half, put it in water, and grow it yourself. Anyway, it's all good stuff. I love gardening, and I love everything out of the garden. It's all natural, and nothing tastes like your own stuff. Fresh. So happy gardening.